Okay, so welcome to our third video on the overview of the eFront Learning Portal for the Center for Digital Inclusion and Technology. Today we're going to take a look at the lesson and my course overview, and we're going to learn how to navigate your lessons once you're in a particular lesson. So the first thing we're going to do is you notice that we're already logged in, and you see that under the home I have my courses, and these are all the courses that are available to me, and these happen to be in the computer category, and the one that we're going to take a look at in particular is the computer hardware and software class. And you'll notice that your classes are listed by name, and then there are lessons under them. So you'll see the name of the lesson right here. And next to that lesson is a percentage. These happen to be 0%, but they will show you your completion percentage of classes when you are working on them. Let's go ahead and click on this. And now it takes me into the dashboard of my class and my lesson of the IT Essentials hardware and software. And again, we have different areas on our screen and different things that we can do. Our first one is the options area, and this is where we can go in to start a lesson. We'll see any information about the lesson if we click on that link. We have our glossary of terms, and then we have a forum. So let's go in and look at the glossary of terms first. So we click on that one, and we see the heading glossary, and then we see the alphabet A through W in this case, and then O to 9 and symbols. And then under here we see a term and an explanation. So this is where we can find some of the major terms that will be relevant to our class. And once you are ready to go back out of this particular activity, you want to click one over on the tree or the path. So we see glossary, so that's where we are. And now I will click on IT Essentials hardware and software, and that will take me up one level. I also have forum. We'll take a look at that later. Over here we have announcements. So these would be announcements from your instructor about different things going on in the class. A calendar. You here would have a listing of start and end dates and any tests or projects that would be due. Here is the forum for the class. Individuals can go in and create topics, and they can also post or respond to particular topics. So here we see a welcome to the class, a response to that. So let's click on the welcome to the class, and here we see any posts and any responses, and you'll see that this is actually from me. And if we wanted to make we could do a new message. And I'm just going to put thanks, and I can do thanks again. So this area would be a great way for us all to communicate with each other. Hopefully we'll see other pictures here besides me as the students in the class respond to different postings. So it's a great place. If you find resources, you can put those here, any links that you might find. Remember to go back one level. We're going to click one level on the path. And so now we're still in the forums. So we're going to go back one more level. Okay. And then there's this thing called Billboard. I'm trying it out for the first time. And here we can put up information that might be relevant to the class. Then we have links, and that links section takes us into a chat. We can place other links there. but this CDIT is a chat that if we wanted to have an online chat about different things in the class, we can go in and go into a secure chat area and do that. Obviously, it's going to be text-based, not voice-based. And then the next area says YouTube, and this is where we will find particular videos on the class as we go through the next 12 weeks. And we will find my information piece each week on the readings that you're going to be doing. So I will highlight the materials. I will go through using this program I'm using right now, which is called Active Presenter, and I will go through the course materials and I will point out different things that I think you need to know. So if you're someone who needs a little bit of visual and someone talking at the same time as you're reading, it might be a great way for you to learn. And under the section of materials, we see all our reading materials for this class. We see chapters 0 through 12, and they correspond to the Cisco CompTIA A+ reading materials. And if we click on one of those, we could jump into those lessons. Or we could start our lesson right here, and we're going to do that. We're going to click on Start Lesson. And you see that it started, and it gives me a course summary, talks about some of the information on the class and any prerequisites that we might have. And also over here you'll see the lessons as they're laid out. Over here it tells us how much we are completed. So as you're reading, you'll need to scroll down sometimes. And at the bottom you're going to see two icons on this page. On a lot of your pages you'll see three. There'll be a back button. In the center one, we can set this to say that this unit is completed, and then a pretest skills, which I would like you all to do in the next week. It's just going to ask you some general questions about computers. So I'm going to click this now. Now it's marked this as completed, and then I can move ahead to take the pre-skills test, and I am now going to proceed to take the test. I'm actually going to skip this, and I'm going to go into the first unit. Now this is going to be a little bit different than the page we saw before. When you get into your reading, they are actually embedded pages within our software. So a couple of things to note. You're going to see the particular chapter you're in for the unit. You're going to see Cisco here, and then you're going to see a side navigation bar. And this side navigation bar is only for the particular chapter you're in. And then your main materials will be in the center. Sometimes there will be a scroll bar over here. There's also another scroll bar to the right, so you can see everything on your page. And then down below, you will see two more buttons. In this case, it says Previous, which is not highlighted, and then a Next. These relate to the Cisco chapter. If you wanted to skip ahead a whole chapter or go back, you're going to see two other arrows down below, and that would be the pre-skills would take us back, and the chapter 1 will take us to the next chapter. When you're all, so there are multiple pages in here, you don't want to set this unit as complete until you've gone through and you've read everything in here. So we have our introduction. There normally will be reading in the center column, and then there will be pictures or flash activities for you to do right here. And then to move one ahead in this page, we're just going to click this Next, and then that will take us ahead to the next page and talk some more about the IT industry in this particular page. Now if I'm just reviewing and I want to skip ahead, there was some particular information I wanted, maybe I want to skip ahead to the overview of technician jobs, I could click on that then click on that page, and now I've jumped ahead to that page. And now here's some information about particular technician jobs in the IT industry. And then we're going to come down, and if we set the unit as complete, we'll have marked that complete. And now we can jump ahead to Chapter 1. And again, now we'll see that our back buttons in the lower one, in the forward button, are Chapter 0 and then Chapter 2. And then this right here relates to our current chapter. And you'll see Chapter 1 is where we're at. We'll see the main heading for that particular chapter. And then over here we have an introduction to personal computers, and it says 1.0, and you notice that we just skipped ahead to 1.0.11. And then the other ones we see 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. They will not expand until you actually get to those sections. And so to get to each additional page, you're just going to click the next button, and now you'll notice that over here under the 1.1 section we now have 1.11, 1.112, and 1.13, and so forth, with more information. Your reading will always be right here. Sometimes you will need to scroll down. If you want it, you can make this wider if you want to see more room, so you can adjust that information if you need. Sometimes over here in the right section, so right now it tells us types of computer cases, we see a 1 and 2 button. This will change the slide. Sometimes there'll be more buttons within this slide, and if we click on these, this will tell us more information about the lesson and the materials. I suggest that you do these. There will be information here that might not be in the reading over in this section. So it's important that you do these activities and that you do step by step through them. I'm going to scroll us just over a little bit, and so you'll notice now up here under lesson materials we have a check next to class description, and we have a check next to Chapter 0 because I marked those as completed. You'll notice that the pre-skills test still has a little pencil on it because we did not take it, we skipped it. And that is a requirement for completing this unit. Down here it tells us our progress, so I am 13% of the way finished. And it says I've completed 0 out of 1. And then if I wanted to, I could print the units. I could add a comment if I needed to. If I wanted, I could open this whole unit in a pop-up menu and expand it, and now I won't see my sidebar. I'll still have my availability of the arrows to move back or forward in and out of the chapters, and then this section is the chapter that I'm currently working on. So if you're someone who gets distracted by a lot of clutter on a page, this might be a great way to do it and use the pop-out. And then when I'm done reading this, again, I would set my unit as complete. If I want to go back to my main dashboard for this particular lesson, I would go back one level on the path, so move left 1, because remember I'm in Chapter 1 here, so I'm going to go click on this one, and now I've come back to my main page. So if I wanted to go into the forum, or I wanted to go into the glossary or look at my calendar, I could do that. You'll notice that it says resume lesson. When we first started, it said start lesson. Now it says resume lesson. So this will pick up right where I left off. If I wanted to go back and review, or I wanted to go in and go ahead a chapter, I could just go click on those chapters and it would take me right to that one. You'll also notice that chapters class description, chapter 0 and 1 are all have a check because I marked those as complete. So the way we have this set up is you're going to self-mark them as complete. I would like you to mark it as complete. That way I can go in and see what progress people are making and if you are actually doing the work. Also, when you go in these lessons, there are going to be labs and pages for you to work on, and I would suggest that you download those and you work on them, and you're going to download them right from the unit. So let's go in here and look, and I'll show you one right now. So here's our first worksheet, and all you need to do is click on the link and it will then bring it up inside your page. If you want, you can click on the icons here to download it or print it, and if you downloaded it, then you can open it directly in Adobe. It's an Adobe file. And so in this case, here's a worksheet that you could do, and it's based on the readings that we've done. And I really suggest doing these. So I'm going to go back. Now again, remember you're going to find your videos for the lessons each week down here under the YouTube. I also might place some other ones that I think are relative that are not by me on some of the different areas to give you some different opinions on different things for the system and computers and software. So that is the end of the overview of how to use the lessons within the eFront system. Next time I will start the actual lessons and we'll go over the class description and summary and the Chapter 0 IT Essentials and the introduction. All right, thank you. Have a great day.